Hey guys, welcome back to my channel today. In today's video, I'm going to be updating you guys on my recent VIB sale haul. I believe I hauled 2 times at least during the last VIB sale just because there were so many weekends back to back for Rouge that I was just finding myself going absolutely insane with how much I was buying. So I figured I would update you guys on some of the products I've been testing out the last little while, which ones I think are worth it and which ones I think are really just some you could totally pass. Really quick, if you guys are new to my channel, hello, my name is Jenna. It is so nice to meet you. I chat about high-end and luxury makeup on this channel. My hope is that I can help you guys navigate the high-end makeup space a little bit better so that you know which things are worth buying and which things are just expensive price tags and not worth it at all. So if you are interested in reviews in the high-end category and hauls and things like that, then I would love for you to consider subscribing to my channel. And without further ado, let's get on to my product updates. The first thing I want to talk about right off the hop is the Kevyn NudePop palette. This is one that I recently hauled and I've now tested every single shade. What I can tell you is that this is a beautiful palette. This is something that is so well done. The mattes are beautiful. I do find myself using my fingers when applying these shimmery shades kind of in the diagonal portion of this palette. So we have the one right by my finger here, then we have this one in the middle, and then we have the one on the upper end. Those ones are definitely a different texture. They're a little bit more glittery, a little bit heavier, and I do find I use my finger for the maximum impact with those. These can be absolutely built up on the eye to just have more of an impact when it comes to color, but they are pigmented, they are smooth, and I don't find any issues with applying any of these shades. So I really love this palette and I'm so glad that I picked it up. So if you guys are interested in this palette, it is definitely worth it. The next palette is actually one that I feel like everybody else has except for myself, but I finally picked it up during the VIB sale, and this is the Urban Decay Born to Run palette. So it's right here. This one is really nice as well. The shades in here are super well done. I was actually so surprised at the formula of this one because I'm used to the Urban Decay Naked palettes. I do not own them anymore because all of them either expired out or I decluttered them, but this formula is much better than Naked. Like, it's way better. So I'm really happy that I was able to get this after all because I was almost going to skip on it, but I think this is the best formula that Urban Decay has done, and it's so consistent too. Like, even within the darker shades, it's consistently pigmented, easy to blend out, like beginner friendly to the max. Like, this is something that is a beautiful like all-in-one palette. You do have your nice like cranberries in here, lots of neutrals. We also have like a black, we have a few like lid shades that are kind of like perfect for like just setting your base. Like, there's so much you can do with this that I think this is absolutely worth the money. And like I said, best formula Urban Decay has ever done in my opinion. It's amazing. Next, I have a couple more palettes that I've recently done reviews on, and I've finally been able to kind of test all the shades out for you and let you guys know, because usually my reviews for eyeshadow palettes are first impressions, like when they're a video on its own. Just because I'm doing like my first impression thoughts, I haven't been able to test every single shade yet, so I give my first impression, and then videos like this, I update you guys fully. And this first one is the new Nude palette by Huda Beauty. So this is one that I am super excited about as well. I do think that you do need glitter glue for the glitter shades in the center here. You can absolutely apply them without glitter glue, but what I find is that they hold about 12 hours, then they start to crease. So that is something that if you want to, maintain the look further than 12 hours, you can certainly go ahead and use a glitter glue. That being said, if you have oilier lids, and I wouldn't say I do, I think I have like normal lids, like they're not dry, they're not oily, but if you have oily lids, this will definitely break apart on you a lot quicker without glitter glue. So just keep that in mind. These chunkier shades as well, like the kind of spackle shades as she calls them, those are really good applied with a finger. That is something that I have personally found. Again, you don't need to if it's something that you're not going to want to do, but I think that they're best that way. So that's why I love this palette. Of course, the mattes are great. They're consistently great. Like, throughout all of the shades, they're consistently great. This one, if you're thinking about it, you can go ahead and purchase it. It is well worth it. Next, we have the NARS palette. This is the Ignited palette, and this is something, you guys, there's not that many shades in here, so I was able to test them out pretty quickly. This is the palette right here, and in my review, I talked about the deep purple shade in the bottom here being a little bit patchy, and I would consistently say that that is true. I do think that besides that shade, everything else is really, really great, and the patchiness to this deep purple is slight. It's not like something that is blatantly obvious, but I do think to a beginner it will be much more obvious than to someone that has experience applying shadow. So I love that all of these shimmer shades are their kind of like special shimmery kind of formula. Again, I apply them best with a finger. This I think is really nice. Again, the only downside, in my opinion, not enough mattes. That's what I said in my video, not enough mattes, in my opinion. There's only 3 on this left wing, and I do wish that there were at least 1 to 2 more just to give more of the variability of creating looks, especially for beginners that need that guidance. Even though there's only the 3 mattes, I do think this is absolutely worth the money as well. There have been some great eyeshadow palettes that have been released lately, and this is definitely one of them. Okay, so that is all the updates for the eyeshadow palettes. I want to quickly tell you guys about this hair mask that I ended up hauling at TJ Maxx. This was in my makeup TJ Maxx haul that I did when I was in the States, and this is the Amika Nourishing Mask. This is the Sea Buckhorn Berry Intense Conditioning and Repair. This is something, you guys, that I have tested out now. Oh, it's spilling all over me because it was in my shower. Shoot. Okay. There was some water along the rim. You gotta love when that happens. Anyways, this is how much I've used already. So I've used a decent amount. It's dripping. Can you see that? It's just right there. It's like, blah, shoot. Anyways, I've used it a lot. This smells amazing. This works amazing as well. I would definitely recommend purchasing this. If you see this at a TJ Maxx, I think this is well worth it. And I do think this is going to last me a while. I have long, thick hair, and I do tend to, when I'm using masks, I'm not shy about layering it on my hair. I want it to really deeply condition, so I'm not going lightly. I'm getting her done, you know? I have really been enjoying this. My hair is much more moisturized. It feels like it keeps the moisture in a little bit better, if that makes sense. And a couple of you asked me as well how this compares to my all-time favorite Briogeo Deep Conditioning Mask. There's differences between their consistency. The Briogeo one is definitely a bit thinner, but it's not lacking in moisture compared to this one. This one is just thicker, but I would say that both of them perform, the deep conditioning part equally as well. So if you've been interested in this one, definitely worth it as well. Next, I want to update you guys on one of the facial cleansers that I picked up. This was quite a while ago, and with skincare, I always want to do a couple of months for sure when it comes to testing stuff, just because it's skincare and it's not as quickly reviewable per se as sometimes makeup can be. So this is from Korres, and this is the foaming cleanser. This is the Greek yogurt one. This one smells amazing, you guys. Ugh, it smells so good. And this one foams quite a bit. Now, I love this, but I don't use it all the time because it foams. I do believe that if you use a foaming cleanser multiple days in a row, you will get more of a drying effect on your skin. That at least is my experience, so I definitely don't use this every day. When I used it 2 days in a row, then I started to notice that my skin started to feel a little bit more of that squeaky clean, which I don't really like. I know my skin is clean, but I don't want it to be like that feeling of getting pulled back, like you're starting to remove some of your natural oils. So this is something that I use once in a while when I want that invigorating scent and just maybe a deeper clean, I guess. But I'm not using this all the time because of the foaming and because I don't want it to strip my natural oils. That is my thoughts on this one. But this one smells really nice. Now let's talk about setting sprays. The first one is from Morphe. This is the Morphe setting spray. This one is one that I hauled as well, the last haul. And what I can tell you is that I don't mind this. I want to preface this by saying that this is not my typical type of setting spray where it's like that tacky feeling and it's like an aerosol all over your face. I typically use the MAC Fix Plus, which is very much a hydrating kind of spray. This is not going to do that for you. This is going to set, so it is different. So personally, I don't mind this. Like I said, it feels like air, and if you're kind of learning how to use that or you've never used something like that, I do find that I overdo it if I'm not careful because it literally feels like nothing. So what I do is I, consciously remember, okay, this is like still applying to my skin even though I don't really feel anything but the air. So I just do a light kind of shift like this. If I go any further than that, I do find it settles into my pores and really accentuates my pores and kind of breaks down my foundation a little bit. So this is one that I have personally had to kind of play with a little bit to get like my preference of use. So that to me is why it's just like, you know what, I will finish this up and I probably won't repurchase it because I have just come to really love setting my makeup with the Fix Plus, which is like a hydrating spray. So it's definitely like a different method. So this isn't bad, but this is something that, again, you have to make sure that you're careful with how much you're applying. And I've also noticed that the nozzle kind of is funky. Like mine is kind of leaning and kind of going a certain way. I don't know if this is going to make it the lifetime of this product. Like I really hope it does, but I found that sometimes when I press it down, it like jams and then it doesn't come back up. Now, this one is the other one that I did end up hauling. This one's a lot more expensive. This is from Fresh. This is the Vitamin Nectar Antioxidant Glow Water. This is a multi-purpose product. So unlike the setting spray where you just set your makeup afterwards with this guy, this one you can spray after skincare, you can spray after a shower, before makeup, after makeup. It's a little bit more versatile than the Morphe. This one feels the same as the Morphe, so it's got that nice air kind of feel where you're not actually feeling any of the product come onto your skin per se, except for the air. So just keep that in mind. So this is a multifunctional product, and I personally think this one is better than the Morphe one because this one isn't as tacky as the Morphe one leaves my skin. This one I much prefer over the Morphe, just because there's so much more you can do with it and it's better. The next product is from Lawless, and this is the translucent setting powder. This is called Seal the Deal. This is a loose setting powder, and I do think this is a really, really nice product too. I like the fact that you have holes to kind of get it out, but it's not a lot of holes, so there's just a little bit, and that kind of like confines the product into its minimal mess, basically, is what I'm saying. This one also has a tinge of a yellow undertone, so it's not like a perfectly translucent powder. There is that yellowness to it. If that is something that you don't like, then I would steer clear from this because I do have powders that don't have that yellow undertone. They perform just as well, but the yellowness of this is so slight that I don't find it affects the look that I have on my face. Like I don't notice that I'm all of a sudden yellower, if that makes sense. So this is really nice at mattifying. I think it's really, really well done. It extends the life of my makeup for sure, like keeps everything in place. So this is definitely something that I recommend as well. I think that Lawless has done a great job with a lot of her products. So this one is also really, really good. Next, let's talk about Tatcha. So recently I hauled this guy. This is the Rice Polish, in particular the deep one, and I actually already owned the Polish Classic formula, and I wanted to see how they would compare, especially because this one is much more for like normal to oily, but also it's for like congested skin and like blemish prone skin, which is what I'm going through right now. This I would say is different than the Deep Cleanse because the Deep Cleanse product is one that has like the exfoliant, like loofah fruit particles. They're kind of suspended in like a gel and then you mix it with water and it's a really light lather, but like very little. Like it's not gonna bubble so much on your skin or anything. This one is like a lightweight foam. So this one is going to exfoliate as well, but differently. I wouldn't say that it's better than the Deep Cleanse or worse than the Deep Cleanse. I do think they both do a great job with exfoliating the skin, but I think this one is just like a different product. This one is a powder that you mix with water, and I do like how this one gets in there a little bit more than the classic rice powder formula. I do think both of them do a good job, but this one has more of a coarser kind of consistency to it, which makes sense because it is for like normal to oily and blemish prone skin, whereas this one is slightly softer feeling. So it's not as coarse as the Deep product, but again, both feel really nice, luxurious on the skin. This just does a great job of exfoliating. It's lightweight but powerful, and that's what I really like. Next, let's talk about the Becca and Chrissy Teigen lip gloss kit that I did haul. It comes with these mini lip glosses, and these pack quite a punch. I really do like them. I do think that all of these colors would suit like so many skin tones. I think these are just like gorgeous, gorgeous shades. And I have been using, I would say the one I use the most is probably this one, which is funny enough because it is a little bit deeper, but it's still really, really beautiful. Like, they have a really nice doe foot applicator. I do think you can absolutely go to town and, you know, layer it really well and just be really pigmented, really shimmery, or you can do like a light wash on your lips and it just looks really, really stunning. So I do really like that. I'm just swatching it on my hand right now to kind of show you all the shades, but I do think this is something that I don't regret purchasing. However, I do like that these are mini because I rarely go through a lip gloss product, you know? So these are the shades here, and they're super pretty. I mean, the one I wear the least is definitely the red, but I do think that I don't own like a red gloss like that's that pigmented. So it's really, really lovely. And then I do think the one in the middle is the one I wear the most, as I said, but I also like the clear gloss on the end. I like that they're limited edition because then when I'm done with them, I can just move on to the next thing because that's really the makeup industry, like new things all the time. So loving that. The last two lip products that I hauled are actually super stunning as well, but I do have some thoughts. The first one is from Lancome, and this is the Peut-Etre, okay, I'm gonna say this wrong, L'Absolu Rouge Sheer Lipstick, and this is just in like their gorgeous holiday packaging. So this is a stunning, stunning bullet in my opinion. All you have to do is just press it down and it just like shoots down and then you just pull off the cap. This is something that I haven't seen restocked on Sephora ever since I purchased it. So I'm not sure if they're just going to stock it the one time, never bring it back kind of thing. I'll definitely keep you posted on that. I'll see if I can find a link in the description box, but if I can't, maybe I'll try to find something similar. I do know that Nordstrom also carries something like this, but I think it's a different shade. So this lipstick is super beautiful. It definitely is sheer and not as sheer as they say though. Like they're like it's a sheer product, but I mean, that's 2 swipes. So it's not that bad. I still think it's fairly pigmented for a sheer product. But what I do like about it is that it's really, really creamy and it's a beautiful, beautiful pink. Like I think it's just so stunning. So this is definitely one that I've used a couple of times and been really impressed with. Because of the fact that it's so sheer, it does move around, of course, and it doesn't last like forever on the lips. But I do think that this is a gorgeous product and I'm not mad that I purchased it. I think it's lovely. I do think that I have to be cognizant of drinking beverages, eating sandwiches, maybe like anything that's like a full mouth open where it could transfer because it can. But I do think this is a lovely product too. So definitely another one that I love. The last product I'm going to update you guys on today is from YSL. This is the Slim Matte, and this is in the shade number 12. The reason that I wanted to get this was because the shape of it is really peculiar. Like it's just really different. And this is what it kind of looks like. It's like a diamond instead of that classic like teardrop kind of shape to the lipstick. Now I've worn this a couple of times. This is very, very matte. I do think that it's creamier than like a classic matte that feels gritty, but this is definitely one that is quite matte. I find that it settles into my lines slightly and not a bad thing, but I kind of have to watch it, you know? So that is not my favorite, but the packaging is really, really nice. I do think that the application process is a bit of a learning curve because of the diamond. I'm just going to show you again. I do like how you can get to your Cupid's bow really lovely, but like the bottom lip where it's just all like, you know, a half circle basically, there's no points or anything. It's tougher with this kind of wand and applicator, but not like impossible. You can absolutely just learn it and it's totally fine. I think that some people would find this annoying and some people wouldn't, but I think I'm just going to use this up, enjoy it, and then kind of leave it there as well. I don't think I would buy another one, nor would I buy, like, I would repurchase this shade. This shade is pretty generic, and I do have similar shades like this in my collection multiple times over. But the formula, because of the fact that it does, you know, show some of my lines in my lips, and I have to be careful because this one also transfers as well. And I have other YSL products that I really like too. probably more than this, and I should have known. Like, I thought that the matte formula would be much more comfortable. I do think that the Pat McGrath matte trans lipsticks are more my alley, or like the Matte Revolution from Charlotte Tilbury, because they do have that creaminess to them. This one does, but it can dry out as it wears a little bit, and that's what kind of emphasizes my lines. So that's what I'm going to say about this one. Again, nothing bad about it, but I just definitely won't repurchase it or buy another shade of it. Anyways, guys, those are my thoughts from this product update video. Let me know what you think of everything, and is anything going to be on your wish list? Did you buy anything else that I should be picking up? Because I always want to know your recommendations. Thank you so much once again for 10,000 in my first year. I really appreciate it, and that just, it's made my whole year, basically. So thank you so much for all your support and your love. And until my next video, guys, take care. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!
You and me, everything that we've been through has made us strong. You won't believe we've had our gray, but somewhere there's a light inside of us. It shows the way.